Hello, I'm Michael Cummin, and welcome to Common Ground. It's a place where we'll regularly explore some of the ideas that become common to us all through work, news, family, friends, or shared experiences. Please subscribe if you'd like an update as we add more episodes. Throughout history, when the world has experienced a pandemic, there's also been a corresponding shift in society. In the plague of Justinia, 541 AD, half the known world died. The Roman Empire was never reunited again, and the Dark Ages began. Between 1347 and 1351, bubonic plague spread throughout Europe, killing approximately 25 million people, and it saw the end of serfdom. Could this current pandemic see the end of another phenomenon, the micromanager? My late father was never one to hide an opinion, and shared a great deal of ire for a particular kind of manager, the one who would call a breakfast meeting. This practice, coming before the time of Zoom or Teams, would require assembling in a hotel before 8 a.m. to meet with colleagues or hear the latest company update. He would speculate in most cases these meetings were called because they could be. Attendance was a demonstration of being a team player, another phrase that would fire his indignation. 2020 will be known in history for many things, from a global pandemic to US presidential elections to working from home, or as I've heard it described, living at work. It will, for me, be the summons to a passive video call to hear and see what I could have read. But spare a thought for the manager who previously would have regularly maintained a sense of being in control by calling endless meetings. Having their people around them created a feeling of things being done. Presenteeism indicated commitment. Remote working has been on the agenda for years. If you're old enough, you might remember the Minitel terminal that in 1991 promised access to your company mainframe from home. There would be regular articles in weekend newspaper supplements encouraging the idea of working from home. I'd speculate that the idea never gained traction because of the presence of a cohort of managers who didn't trust that their staff would be productive without their constant physical presence. This year changed all that, and now we've proof that for many, certainly not all, it does work. In an article in the Harvard Business Review in August this year, Knowledge Workers Are More Productive from Home, Julian Birkinshaw, Jordan Cohen and Pavel Stak suggested lockdown helps us focus on the work that really matters. We're spending 12% less time drawn into large meetings and 9% more time interacting with customers and external partners. Lockdown helps us take responsibility for our own schedules. We do 50% more activities through personal choice because we see them as important, and half as many because someone else asked us to. During lockdown, we view our work as more worthwhile. We rate the things we do as valuable to our employers and to ourselves. I'm not for a moment suggesting that we should be left to work on our own devices, pun intended, and indeed there has to be accessibility to and from our leaders and managers, but it has to evolve. We know it's harder on Zoom, Teams and Skype to build rapport and trust, to maintain credibility with bad audio and video. I believe too that a 9-to-5 culture that worked in a world of commuting and office space has changed. This item was recorded at 7 a.m. because that's when I had the idea. Managers have to step up, trust their employees, focus on commuting and practice the organisational culture and vision. Focus on outputs, not process. Give recognition and encourage innovation. Many managers and leaders have stepped up to the challenge. They've changed how they support their teams. They keep in touch, they motivate and listen, and recognise that the call and the time of their staff that they previously had is shared now with the home environment. That's a place where many of us feel more empowered and emancipated. I can only speculate how my dad would have reacted to 2020, but I can imagine that the phrase "the new normal" would have been on his hit list. It's on mine too. Thanks for listening. Please feel free to share this and subscribe to get an update on new episodes.